Hey, hey, how's it going? If you're new here, my name is Jan and I love makeup. And if you're not new, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate you. Today's video is obviously all about the Blend Bunny's Primal palette. Let me just say, I am a liar. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't even realize I was doing it, but I am. I got the Blend Bunny Primal palette, and when it came in, I was like, wait a minute, I have everything from Blend Bunny. Everything. I have the brushes, I have the other 3 palettes, I have everything. I am collecting Blend Bunny palettes and brushes. I didn't even realize. So, yep, I've been on and on and on about not being a collector and really only collecting Nomad, but turns out I'm a liar. So I am incredibly sorry about that. I didn't even know I was doing it. Anyway, oh my goodness. So let's talk about my collection for a second, because this literally blew my mind. The first palette I got was the Dollhouse palette. I grabbed this because it's essentially a neutral palette, but a bit twisty because it goes very, very dark and very, very light. It's got the 2 different rows of like light and airy shimmers, but the kind of darker, more jewel tone shimmers, all the mattes. And I thought this would be an easy palette to use. You wouldn't have to struggle. All the colors would be usable, blah, blah, blah. So I got it. Loved it with my whole heart. Could not believe the quality, the pigmentation, the blendability. Like, there was no bad with this palette. So as I got done using it the first time, I hopped back on the interwebs and ordered the other 2. The Blends palette was the first one they ever released, and it's amazing. I mean, it's a rainbow palette, but look, it's got such wonderful tones and colors. I've used this several times and could not love it more. They released the Surge palette, and this one I wanted with my whole heart. It's so fun. This color right here, this high vis, if you've been here for that, if you were here for that video, you know it holds a very special place in my heart. I'll link it below in case you want to take a reconnoiter. But this color story, look at it. It's everything. Neons, brights, darks, pastels. It's mattes and shimmers. It is everything. And I love it. And if you're not into like super bright, colorful looks, it might feel intimidating, but let me tell you, it's really, really not. And then we have the Primal palette, which you might think, oh, another rainbow palette, but it's not. These shades are slightly different in tone than the other palettes. They're just absolutely phenomenal. This pastel shade is a little bit deeper than the other pastels, so it's got everything. These 4 palettes are everything. I honestly do not think that there are duplicates in here. I think that if you wanted to own all 4, you wouldn't be sorry. There's a little bit of something else in each palette. I feel that way about pictures. So I'm really bad at taking pictures, and I'll take 20 pictures of the exact same thing, one of the babies or whatever. And then later on, I'll go through and delete anything that's, blurry, or if there's multiples of the same. But the thing is, there's not, because in each picture, somebody's making a different face, or their hand looks a little different, or there's always something that I'm like, oh, I can't delete that one, I have to keep it. That's how I feel about these palettes. All 4 of them are spectacular. I love, love, love them so, so much. So if you want to see how I got this look, stick around, we're going to get into it. I'll also link below any of my videos where I'm using any of these palettes in case you want to take a reconnoiter. I super appreciate you hanging out with me today. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, you could do that now. It doesn't cost you anything. It's kind of fun, and I love hanging out with you. All right, let's just get into it. I'm about to have a very naked face. Brace yourself. All right, we're all zoomed in and ready to go. Obviously, I'm playing with the Blend Bunny Primal palette today. I'm super excited about this. Haven't touched it, haven't anything. I opened it to look and make sure everything came in one piece and nothing was broken. I'm sure this isn't the first time you're seeing this palette, but I still wanted to come on and create a look and talk about it. So that's the color story. I love, love, love what Blend Bunny is doing. So instead of yammering on and on about it, let's just start playing. I'm going to slap some butterscotch tape on my eyes, and then I'll come back and we'll get going. Okay, eyes are primed and I've got the butterscotch tape working for me. Did put a little bit of brow pencil in my brows. I feel like it gives me a good reference point where I can take the eyeshadows, and I moved the butterscotch tape out a little bit and down a little bit because I want to go for something a little dramatic today. I think I want to do pink and red on my lid, and then maybe blue and purple on my lower lash line. I mean, this is a rainbow palette, but each row is set up like as a monochromatic look, which I think is so smart. I love, love, love how these palettes are set up. But I think I want to do something with the pinks and this red over here, and then the shimmery red and pink. And then because I can't resist the blue and purples, we'll put those on the lower lash line. So let's just start playing. Going with a slightly larger blending brush. This is my Refer 15. I'm going to go into the dark pink shade called Nectar. It's in the pastel row, and I'm going to use that on the inner portion of my transition area. Like I said, I want to go for something dramatic, fun, and a little bit different. And that's that. That just blended itself. One dip in. Boy, howdy. Okay, I mean, that took literally no time at all. Perfect. I just cleaned off my brush in my little Odin's Eye color switch. And using the same brush, I'm going to dip into this shade right here. This is called a Warning. And I think I'm going to use that as my other transition color. And that's going to go right out here. All right, that looks super similar. So perhaps I will dip into the orange called Untamed. That way I can give this a bit more warmth. And then I'll go back into that Melanie Warning shade. I'm just grabbing another clean blending brush. This happens to be the Refer 27. And I'm just gonna blend, blend, blend over this orange shade right here. All right, I know it's looking crazy, but I do think it's gonna come together, so stick with me for a minute. Cleaning off that Refer 15, and I'm gonna go into the red shade called Huntress, and I'm gonna use that in my crease and up into the transition a little bit. I cleaned off that fluffy Refer number 27, and I'm just gonna blend in here a little bit. I'm not too worried about what this looks like because we're gonna throw on some shimmer shades, but okay, I'm really liking that so far. I'll use my Refer 13 and go into that Morning shade, which was that like melon shade, and I'm gonna use that right in here. I want a bit more transition and depth before we go into that light pink. I think that they're very similar, but the Warning shade has a bit more depth to it, which is perfect for this. I like a nice gradient. All right, I'm loving this, but now it's time to go into some shimmers. Okay. So I think I'm going to use this shade and this shade on my lid for the shimmers. I think that's going to be pretty darn cute. So I'm going to put the Feral shade, which is the pinky one, on the inner half of my lid and up into my crease, of course. I did wet my brush a little bit with some setting spray. That's so pretty. I'm gonna clean that brush off and go into the redder shade, which is called Potent. It looks kind of like a bricky red with some orange in it. Yep. Up into my crease, of course, because it will end up there anyway, because my eyes are hooded. The same thing I always say. Man, this shade is stunning. It's dark and red, but it's also super bright. I like it. Now I think I'm gonna dip into the black shade in this palette called Nocturnal, and I'm gonna put it out here. I like a bit of darkness and depth in the outer portion of my lid. I almost always add a little something out here. I really think it makes a pretty big difference in how a look turns out. And I mean, that's why they have the white and the black larger pans in this palette, because it is a thing a lot of people do. And that's exactly what I wanted. Okay, that's both eyes done. I'm going to go off camera, do the rest of my face, lashes, the whole 9, and then I'll come back and we'll do the lower lash line, and then we'll finish up this video. Okay, I'm back. My face is on. I, of course, threw some lashes on, so let's finish up the lower lash line. I decided to use my new House Labs eyeliner. Oh, what shade is this? In Cobalt Matte. It's pretty good. I wasn't sure at first. You do kind of have to go over and over and over and over, but it looks nice, so I'm not mad at it. So now I want to use the blue and the purple. I think I'm going to go full on shimmer for the lower lash line. So on my refer number 3, I'm going to dampen this. Though I want to note I didn't have any fallout from the eyeshadows. There were a couple of spots where I went completely crazy, and of course, you know, I had some fallout from that, but that was me, not the eyeshadows. So I'm gonna go into this dark blue shimmer and the purple shimmer for the lower lash line. I think that's gonna be really fun. So I've got the blue. I wanted to do something colorful and fun and use as many shades as I could while still coming up with something that, you know, I would wear out into the world. And this is absolutely doing it for me. And I'm gonna take my refer number 23, which is the tiniest pencil brush ever, and I'm gonna go into that shimmery purple for the inner portion of my lower lash line. Yeah, I'm gonna go whack on some mascara on my lower lashes, and then we can wrap this video up. Before I zoom you out, let's zoom in and have a look at the eyeshadows. All right, that's the look done and dusted. As for the Primal palette, I'm not the least bit disappointed. I love, love, love everything I've gotten from Blend Bunny. Oh, I have their brushes. I should have used the brushes. Wow. All right, well, next time. I do really like the brushes. Anyway, that's that. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Did you pick this palette up? Are you thinking about picking it up? Is it too much of the same or too funky? Let me know down below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Be good and remember to be kind to you.